getting on. Sat by the fireside, pondering on. Picture book, pictures of your mama, taken by your papa a long time ago. Picture book of people with each other to prove they love each other a long time ago. Picture book, picture book.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with track announcer Pete Aiello. We're back together, Pete.
Yeah, don't adjust your TV sets. Somebody on Twitter already told me I would say that, so I wanted to make sure I delivered in case they made a prop bet on that. But Jason blew it on assignment in Northern California, so you get me and Ronnie all week long, but we're certainly glad to have you with us. Big 10-race card today. This is a really good card.
No, we were talking before we came on the air. This is really a nice card. There's a couple of really good races today, and it's just that we got a fast main track, we got a firm turf course, and more importantly, we got a couple of really nice carryovers today.
Super high five carryover, which gets underway in race number 1, which is already a great betting race. Carryover there, more than 2,700. And then the Rainbow Six has been going big time on the carryover side of things. $442,120 in that Rainbow Six carryover. I think we're at 550, 600 range here today. And it's a sequence that I honestly think if things go the way I think they're going to go, there's going to be a couple single tickets going into that 10th race.
Yeah, we had one single ticket on Sunday that it did just, you never know what's going to happen in those races. So now we have a fast main track, firm turf course. We had a couple of pick fives this afternoon, and Pete's got an early pick five he wants to show you.
I do indeed. I'm going to go with a caveat here. I'm either going to be very, very good and you'll be looking forward to this program tomorrow, or I'm going to be very, very bad and you're going to say, oh, can't we get somebody else? As I've picked some price horses all afternoon long, I'm kind of taking stands against the favorites, but to be honest with you, Ronnie, I didn't know they were favored because I made this selections and these tickets out before the morning line came out. I'm in disagreement with the morning line on some of these races. This is a tough way to start the day. I'm 4 deep to kick off the program. I like to see the early money on the 1, Go Girl Gone, as she is a horse that I thought may be the inside speed in here. I'm going to go with the 1, 4, 5, and 6 in the race. Sassy Lassie is both of our top selections. I'll also use Rachel Smokin' off the strength of a good debut at Gulfstream last time out, and then Jolly on the turnback try for trainer Antonio Sano. Single in the second race, I like the 1 promo code. I think he probably takes more money than the 3-1 morning line. I could be wrong. In the third race, we have 2-year-olds. I really don't know where to go here other than to say to trust the guys who are routinely known for getting the 2-year-olds ready to go at first asking. So I'll use the 1, 3, 7, and 8, key it off with Larry Pilati on the outside horse, Let's Be Honest, with Sammy Camacho riding. I'll spread in the fourth race. This is a 6-horse field, but there's many different ways to go. I'll use the 3 Fast Pass, who was installed as the 2-1 morning line favorite. Bad Student has a look of a horse that may be flying under the radar. Stratosphere hasn't been seen in over a year, but he's coming out of the Jonathan Thomas Shedrow, and Ella's My Love off a big win last time out. I'll single to keep the ticket affordable in race number 5. I looked and looked and looked and couldn't find much to oppose number 2, Novella. I like the barn or the class drop in here. I also like the strength of the maiden special weight efforts at Tampa. This is a very aggressive placement, 4-1. Sign me up for that. It's a $32 play.
Yeah, I went with Shield doing that race, but I'm certainly going to use Novella on my ticket when I show you my Rainbow Six in a little while. Well, let's delve into this first race. As you mentioned, we both, I believe, have the number 5, Sassy Lassie, on top. This one,
ice cold exacted to start the day with a bomb underneath.
That doesn't usually happen with us. Sassy Lassie driving to the 12-5 level first start. Chased the pace along the inside last time out. Made that 5-wide move on the turn. Finished 4th. That was 25 maidens. Kathy Ritfo drops this horse. Edgar Zayas, excellent ride. I think the drop is what's the key here.
I think the drop, though, was a little bit mitigated, at least for me. I wasn't a big fan of the race this horse comes out of in terms of a quality standpoint. The drop is needed to go on par with what she's going to be facing here today. When I look at these 5-furlong turf races, Ronnie, I'm looking for the inside speed. I couldn't find it. So I said, well, wait a second. The 1 has some natural early speed. Her race 2 back was pretty good. She went 21-3 and vied for the early early lead. That was out of the 5-hole. If she can get out there and keep her inside spot, if she's in front going to the far turn, I think she can hang around for a slice. She's 20-1 on the morning line, but there's some early money here.
Yeah, she took some early money. We both have it on a ticket, and I think she had some trouble. She was 5th last time out. She got steadied. That was against those 20 maidens. You're talking about the long shot. I threw the 3 grand surprise in, shifting her focus to the turf. She showed some speed against similar on the main track, and that's what attracted me to her. Victor Barboza Jr., Richard Mitchell. Maybe this is a horse that can go out and steal it, because I didn't see a lot of speed either in this race.
No, there's not a whole lot, especially for a 5-furlong turf event. I don't know why some horse like number 6, Rachel Smokin, doesn't have a chance. Her best races in her life have been on grass. However, they've been going long. You're going to have to take the good with the bad in these kind of races and just try to find the road of lesser evils, as it were. And I think there's a variety of chances in this race. The early money, to me, and when we're 57 minutes from now, that board's not going to be that much different. They may change who is those prices, but I think it's going to be a very evenly bet race.
Yeah, and I'm seeing the 3 up there, whatever it was on the morning line, 15-1, now 9-2. I think they see that speed. Let's go to race number 2 this afternoon, a mile in the 16th, an allowance optional claimer. These are 3-year-olds on the option and claiming price for $75,000. This is one of these really nice races today, and you mentioned promo code, one of your singles on your ticket.
Yeah, let's take a look at his debut. You can draw your own conclusions, as I always try to help you do, but number 3 promo code in his career unveiling, he did a lot right in that particular effort. He was even money to do it too, and he went 45 and a 2 for the opening half mile. He had some challenges coming off the turn. He cornered well under jockey Luis Saez, and the outside horses tried to get to him, but promo code was well clear inside that final furlong. He was a bit green, but he also was well handled by jockey Luis Saez. I was visually impressed by this effort. I think there's more than beats the eye with promo code. I mean, he's on the wrong lead at this point, and he still wins with pretty much something in the tank. I think he's better than that race. I think he doesn't have to be that much better. And the horse who is the morning line favorite, I'll give you my chink in his armor right off the bat. Number 5, Identifier, had a very nice win with a nice figure last time, but he got everything his own way.
Well, what I liked about him, the reason I did put him on top of only proven commodity, is he's the only one proven at the distance. Excuse me, steps up to face winners. He used his speed to wire that field of maiden special weight runners, Jorge Navarro, MSCL Jaramillo. One of my angles, if a horse has done something in the past, only one in the race to win at a mile and 16. Another horse I had some interest in, you don't have on your ticket, was the 6 Fed Fever. He was going back to the main track after sort of tilting windmills when trying to turf in the $100,000 Dania Beach. Fresh off that maiden special weight victory in December. I want to show you a stat of Mr. George Weaver. Horses going turf to dirt, 61 to 180-day layoff under optional claiming conditions. He's 4 for 14, 29%. He's in the money 43% of the time. He's got that gaudy 462 return of investment. Sure, one of those was a bomber.
Well, this horse has got 5 races. 4 of them are awful. His maiden win came on an off-the-turf 4-horse field. I just didn't think he met the caliber of competition that he'll be facing here this afternoon. He won that race that he did win pretty well, but he beat absolutely nothing, at least in terms of dirt horses. The second-place horse Traveling would come back to win on the grass, but I just wasn't a big fan of his because he does have those 4 clunkers with only that one good effort. That being said, I have to ask you a question. In my mind, and I know we disagree a little bit, I threw the 4 and 6 out. That left me with the 1, 2, 3, 5, as you see on the screen.
Right.
All 4 of those horses are, to me, one-dimensional speeds.
Right, yeah.
So somebody's going to have to sit, or we're going to have a big problem here. Other than that, we're just maybe have to out-sprint somebody. I didn't have a good feel for how this race would flow out.
And the number 5 Camco you have in second, I believe it is. That horse there, a reason I backed off, I mean, you know the connections. I thought this horse would get hooked in the duel, and I thought maybe the 5, just because of the performance at a mile in the 16, may be able to track a little bit.
Well, we'll see how that works. I'm not real confident in the way this race is going to flow out. I'm hoping that Zayas can figure out the right moves with promo code.
Well, let's go to race number 3 this afternoon. 4.5 furlongs, maiden special weight, 2-year-old fillies. And like Ed said, I'm thinking of Ed downstairs. Like Pete said, there's just, I was thinking about Ed Pleaser, actually. There's just a bunch of horses here, and you got to go with stats with these first-time starters. Who does well, who doesn't do well?
Yeah, and we traditionally have some barns that traditionally, year in and year out, are proven to have their 2-year-olds ready to go. And some of those barns are represented here. You have Stanley Gold, Eddie Pleaser, Larry Pilati, Mike Yates. Of course, we both have to have Mike Yates on our tickets, and for the most part, we have the same horses. You threw the 8 out, which I find a bit Interesting.
Well, Larry Pilati, if you look at his record, I was talking about stats. He's only 2 for 42 with first-time starters, 2-year-old first-time starters. He usually gives his horse a race. I did go with the 7, Lucky My Lady. Is this sire? I've really been impressed with It's My Lucky Day. So far, 5 for 32 with his 2-year-old first-time starters. It's Eddie Plesa Jr., and you got a pretty solid average, 21% with his 2-year-old runners. So I'm just using stats here. Mikhail Yannikov with the 4, and as you mentioned, I'm not getting beat by Mike Yates.
I'm putting the gloves on. You're taking a shot at Larry Pilati for being 0 for first time. By my stats, Eddie Plesa is 0 for first time as well, my good man. What's good for the goose has got to be good for the gander.
Yeah, but his freshman runners run better.
But wait a minute. We're going to go on story time with Uncle Ronnie. Since Jason's not here, we have to have a story time segment anyway.
Right.
Monarch Stables, true or false, they've won 2-year-old races here since you've been employed in South Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the 8, not the 7.
Next race.
Let's go now to race number 4 then. 6 furlongs over the main track. What we lack in quantity, we make up for in quality. This is a very good betting race, even with just the 6 signed on. There's a lot of different ways to go in here. If you need proof of that, there are 5 of 6 numbers represented on your TV screen.
Yeah, I like the 6 in there, Ella's My Love, but I know you wanted to go back and show the performance of the number 4 Bad Students in for the 16 tag today.
Yeah, this is, I have a question, and I don't know that I have a strong opinion on the answer, but we're going to go back and show you Bad Student, who was racing the 2-turn mile in a 16th here at Gulfstream Park last time out. He makes this bold move to get into second behind the eventual second-place runner in Guy Caballero, and he's traveling pretty well at this stage. I think if you're on Bad Student this particular afternoon, you have to be feeling pretty good. The 3 horses behind the leader are working awfully hard, but Bad Student's just going to flatten out. There's not much more to see other than Irad calls on him for a run, and he just doesn't give one. Now, the question is twofold. One, does he really want to go a mile and a 16th? But I think more to the point, does he want to go 2 turns or 1? His races at 1 turn, both at Belmont and Saratoga, aren't great, but aren't bad either. He's kind of an anomaly to me.
Well, let me help you out with a stat. You know,
Thank you.
I'm a helpful fellow here. Jason Server's horse is going from a route to sprint, optional claimers on the dirt. He's 6 for 16 at 38%, 63% in the money, and still a positive return of investment. Does that help you out a little bit?
That does help me out. It actually makes me want to move Bad Student up the picks there for me. I think he'll take some money, though. Jason Service takes money everywhere.
Well, I did go with the 6, Ella's My Love, was cutting back to 3/4 of a mile. Drew clear to defeat a trio of next out winners, and that was a key race, so you knew I was going there. 12-5 condition claim is contested at 6.5 furlongs. So key race for me, but on top you have a horse that you really got to respect, Fast Pass, but Fast Pass hasn't won since 2017.
I know, and I really can't argue that other than I really like the race he's coming out of. Running 5th behind Restoring Hope. That was a stacked allowance race on Florida Derby Day or Florida Derby weekend. Actually, it was Florida Derby Day, March 30th. The speed bias was on that day, so Fast Pass was up against it from that particular standpoint. One more good thing in the camp of Ella's My Love, because this is a horse that's 6-1 on the morning line, and I get why, because he's theoretically stepping up. 3rd start of the form cycle, took a step forward from the 1st start to the 2nd start, and you have a guy who's flying under the radar in Victor LeBron. I was really impressed with a couple of his rides last week.
That one he went up the rail.
That's the one.
That was a nice race. I remember that. That was a pretty nice performance. Well, already, it's one day I need a break from Peter Reddy, so that we might as well take one in race number 4 and come back with the Rainbow 6.
I got one glove on. I'm going to put the other one on momentarily.
Whether you're at home or at the track, have a stake in the race when you bet with ExpressBet. Sign up for an ExpressBet online betting account and receive up to a $500 sign-up bonus.
Getting excited for Triple Crown season here at Gulfstream Park. The Kentucky Derby just around the corner, which means that the Preakness Stakes is on the horizon as well. If you can't make it to the Triple Crown races, you're home for the best watch party in all of Florida right here at Gulfstream Park. We always have a good fun day on Triple Crown days as long as I've been around, and long before I got the privilege of being on the employee roster was always the days you look forward to coming to the track.
Yeah, very exciting. We have all sorts of giveaways and stuff going on. It's a lot of fun. That's for the Kentucky Derby, and of course at our sister track Pimlico with the Preakness and on to the Belmont Stakes. But we have almost $450,000.
I was going to say, speaking of giveaway, if somebody can take down the Rainbow Six, they'll get a lot of cash to do it. This is a very, very tough sequence. Ronnie, do we go the 43-20 route?
Of course we do, Pete. $43.20 for me. And I went through three deep in here, with the 2 Novella, who was one of your singles in there. Also used the 6-4 kicks and the 8 Shield Do. And we'll show his stat on 4 kicks. And then, when you get down to race number 7, I could be a little light in there. I only went 2 deep. That's the race that scares me a little bit.
I like a bomb in there. He's not on your ticket.
Well, yeah. And then my single, I wanted to make the ticket affordable, comes with James Byrne, who's dropping a peg, was really impressive at that 9 furlong distance last time out. And you'll see in race number 9, my selections were 4, 5, 9, but I had to use 3 rules. I don't know what's going to happen with that horse. I had to defend with that horse and put it on my ticket. Went 4 deep in there, and $43.80, long shot, and comes in the last. And then that is the number 3 horse, and I think can run pretty well. So we'll see how that race plays out. 43-20 for me.
Well, I can promise you this. If I hit the pick 5, you won't hit the Rainbow Six. If you hit the Rainbow Six, I won't hit the pick 5. If nothing more than my single in the last race is not on your ticket.
Yeah, well, I we'll see. I don't know which it is, but we'll check it out when we get there. We didn't see each other's selections, but he's just itching for a fight in here. How did you?
We have to entertain our fans.
Well, how did you start the 5th race? Let's start there.
Well, we won't have too much of a fight there because we have very similar numbers, and I think we are really in a scenario where the cream should rise to the top here. It's just a matter of who gets the job done. Your horse, Shield Do, is taking a substantial class drop. My horse, Novella, is taking a substantial class drop. You have more speed than me. We'll see if I have more closing kick than you.
Yeah, stretching out to the mile on the turf. We're talking about Shield Do, removes the blinkers, showed that tactical speed against better, sprinting on the dirt. It's Todd Pletcher. It's Edgar Zayas. It's a Daughter of Heartspun. Lots to like in there. Novella, you single, dropping to the 20 level, showed some late interest in the pair. Up there at Tampa Bay on the turf, it's Christoph, it's Emisial.
There's a couple things to take note of when it comes to the 2 Novella. If anything, I'm a little worried they're dropping this far down because these 2 races across the state at Oldsmar, these are good races. Ionic was a very impressive debut runner that won last time out. This horse was only 6 lengths behind her. I really like the chances of the 2 Novella on that form line alone. But then when you go back and consider her debut, she was in a 10-horse maiden special weight and was 4th that day behind Make 'em a Dream and Scat Maggie. So the form lines coming out of Tampa are rock solid, whereas for my money, the number 8 Shield Do is a bit of a phony form in the sense that the winner of that last race, Warrior Empress, was taking a big-time step up in class and was a huge upset winner that day. And so for me, I figured that the 2 won't take as much money as the 8. I got a couple of holes in the 8's armor. I'll go the 2 all the way. It's Novella or bust for me.
And you make a great point because Novella, the thing that scared me was the drop. This horse ran well enough not to run for 20,000. Maybe they're looking to get rid of it.
And the other thing too is that some of the maiden races at Tampa have been 6, 7, 8 horse fields. She comes out of a 10-horse race the first time and then a 12-horse race last time. And I'm telling you, that filly that won that race, Ionic, that horse can really run.
Well, just for kicks, I'm going to talk about the number 6 for kicks who moved to the Yvonne Belsourban after the claim. And I want to show you a stat. Doing this first after the claim on the turf right here at Gulfstream Park. He's 6 for 28, 21%, 57% in the money, and he's got a positive return of investment of $2.85. And this one failed to launch a substantial rally when beating 5 lengths, going a mile in the 16th. Was back in early February. But like I said, the barn is good. Recent claims. This one you have on your ticket too, just not as far up as me.
Yeah, she's had her chances. I remember Acacia was on this horse's bandwagon all winter long, and she just had her chances. I like the barn change. I think the barn change will certainly help this horse, but when you've had your chances and you're running against horses like the 2 and 8 who maybe haven't been primed for their best runs, I think that she has it to do, especially once you consider that, at least theoretically, I'm supposed to get a better price on the 2 than the 6. If I do that, I'll be a very happy guy.
Well, let's go to race number 6, and this kicks off our final pick 5 of the afternoon. And Mr. Pete Aiello, the great kahuna. Did you use that horse in your ticket?
I did not. However, I will say this. I would be very surprised if we have similar opinions in a couple of these races coming up. This one included. My top play in this race is 12-1 on the morning line under jockey Jose Bautista. So if you don't watch a whole lot of Gulfstream Park summer racing, or at least you don't get to hear my opinions on such things, Jose Bautista is one of the best grass riders we have in the colony this time of year. And the best part is he always, and I do mean always, flies under the radar. He fixed this horse last time out. I hope he can fix him again, because this horse is really kind of, at least in my mind, had a reputation for getting in real bad. We'll talk about that momentarily, but I'll go 3-10 and hope I can make it through. This is a really tough sequence. I'm 4 deep in the 7th race. I like a bomb in there from off the speed and Something Bird. I think there's a ton of speed. The winner's coming from off the pace. I just have to figure out who it is. I like James Byrne, as much as you do, Ronnie, but this is a tough race. There's some real nice horses in here, including Freedom Matters and Passport to Chaos, so I'm 5 deep in that race. The 9th race, you're either going to have to go all or pare it down, because there's a lot of questions that need answers, and I don't have answers to all of them. I'll go with the 5-dial operator. I'll trust that Service has this horse ready, as well as the 9 Strike Power. And then in the single in the last race, I like this horse. I have no problems with this horse at all. A useful debut at Saratoga, the 11 Ghostly Beauty, returns for George Weaver. The winner of that race, Chocolate Kisses. Oh, she's just a graded stakes winner.
Yeah, she ran well in that race, too. She came out of that race and ran 3rd in the stakes. So, yeah, I can understand that. But coming off the layoff, got the half to Imprimis in there, so that's why I went there. Actually, I had to put my glasses on to see some of these horses that you picked here. Look at their past performances. So you didn't use Great Kahuna, but we'll start it now. Let's start it with First Step, the horse that you did use, because you got a video of him.
Yeah, let's go back and watch his last race. You have to consider that the scenario coming into this last race was a horse that had not been seen since September, had never been on turf going long, which is what he'll be doing today, had run once on the turf prior to this, and it was going 5/8. That's First Step, yellow saddle towel on the far outside. The winner of this race, and this is the reason why I was impressed, the winner is the 3, Quick Connect. You can see 7-5. He was undefeated at the time, so obviously since he won again, he remained undefeated. So I like the fact that First Step was getting to him in deep stretch of that race. He hadn't been seen in a couple of months. Dave Fawkes likely tightened the proverbial screws to take a page out of the Nicoletti playbook. I think he'll be better here today. I don't know if he wants to go long at all, but this race is a very good betting race, and I'll take him second start of the form cycle.
Well, you know, it was just the outside post going 7.5 furlongs is why I backed off, and I did go with the number 7 in here. Great Kahuna's cutting back just a little to the about 7.5 furlong distance, led from flagfall to finish to defeat those 35 maidens at a mile. Smart Cassie has this gelded son of Smart Strike, training well since that performance. That's what sold me on it. I'm always looking for speed in there, and we both used, well, the horse you had on top is the one I have in second, and that's Bad to the Core, a French bred.
Yeah, well, you know what? He is aptly named because he is a tough racehorse to ride. Miguel Vasquez earned his money in the debut run. He was getting in so bad, and then the race 2 starts ago made Twitter a flutter because Brian Hernandez Jr. had no chance to really ride this horse in the final 1/8 of a mile, and it definitely cost him the victory. And then last time out, when people have taken note that this horse has lugged in bad 2 of his 4 races, he didn't lug in at all. So I'm personally, and I could be wrong, I attribute that to Jose Bautista. Maybe they changed bits on the horse. Maybe the horse has figured out that he doesn't need to go quite so far left in the stretch run. I don't know, but the gamble here is you have to take it on faith that this horse is going to mind his business. He has some runs, and he's actually headed in the right direction form-wise. At 12-1 on the morning line, I can excuse the bad antics and try to get him to go straight.
Well, I agree with you right there. Maybe they put a Horton bid on him. I don't know. Maybe that helped out.
You know more about that stuff than I do.
I don't know anything about a Horton bid, but I love saying that. So let's go to, are we done with this race?
No, why are we done with this race?
Oh,
We got all kinds of good horses to talk about.
I'll go right ahead then.
Well, how about the 4 Tangible, 20-1 on the morning line? This horse is coming out of some better races, actually a lot better races in my view. He has not disgraced himself. He's actually stakes placed, Ronnie. He ran 3rd in one of our starter allowance races. There was actually a starter allowance stake, but he's run well. I mean, he was 2nd behind Royal Earn at Gulfstream Park West at 82-1. Antonio Sano wins races this time of year. He's got two in here. I'm going to use them both and figure we can spice up our lives a little bit here.
Yeah, and when you see Valmy now on the running line,
Yeah,
you
that's
certainly
a
have
major class drop.
Major class drop in there. But you'll see 2 starts back. The horse that we have in second, Bad to the Core, finished in front of him. And I went with the one horse on the inside, Quasar Moon, who moved to the Oscar Gonzalez barn after the claim rally to defeat 25 open claimers. That was while in the Todd Pletcher barn. He's a gelded son of Orban. What I like about him, I think he's the one that sits the trip behind what, to me, looks like a solid early pace.
Well, if it's a solid early pace, I like where we sit with some of the horses that we've talked about. I worry about Great Kahuna because he beat a field that was suspect. The good thing about him, though, he went really fast early. We'll see if he has that same stick, because if he goes as fast as he did last time and he can stick like that, we might be in trouble.
Race number 7. This one is a 1 mile claiming event, 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life or 3-year-olds. And this is where you picked Something Bird, the first off the claim by Emmy Gaffney.
There's a ton of speed in here. I'd be the first to say, whether it's Ronnie, Jason, or anybody else in the building, if you like the 5 Sweet Caden and you win, you will win my money, because I do not like that horse at all relative to the pace scenario in this race. There's a lot of one-dimensional speed in here, and good one-dimensional speed too, including aces and eights, and the one horse, our pride. The 5 really does need to be near the lead to offer his best run. The 8 CS Goya is a horse that may or may not be part of the pace. Just for me, I thought this race was ripe for a closer, and I went for the 10, Something Bird. Emmy Gaffney has been quietly doing some good work. This horse's last race was terrible, so bad, in fact, that I'm going to draw a line through it and hope I can get one of those races 2 and 3 starts ago. What would happen if I got the race 3 back, Ronnie, on dirt at a similar level, making a move like that under jockey Jeffrey Sanchez? I think I have a shot if I can run that race 3 back, don't I? 63 figure coming from off the speed?
I guess. I'm not.
Your horse has never run a 63 figure in his life.
Well, let me tell you something about number 5, Sweet Caden. This one dropping to the 12.5 level, trying a 1-turn mile on the dirt after dueling for the lead and tiring to finish 6th. So we'll show you a stand on Mr. Jorge Navarro going turf to dirt with a 50% drop in claiming price. He's 7 for 25, 28%, 52% in the money. Only $1.06 return of investment, but he does well with this move. Do I even convince you a little bit?
No. No. Now, the only thing you can convince me, and I will say this horse wants no part of 2 turns. Right. Whether it's a mile, 7.5 furlongs, or 5/8 on a bull ring, he doesn't want to go 2 turns. So from that standpoint, you do get him back to a 1-turn trip here today.
And our pride we both have on our ticket, who apart from the rail after dueling for the lead, he just got nailed for second money. Oscar Gonzalez, MCL, one of the best at nursing him along on the front or just off the front.
Yeah, but Zayas is going to be on him like white on rice with the 2 aces and 8s, who is a one-dimensional speed horse that's returning from a layoff as well. How about the 3? Got to give him some airtime here, because he's going to be a bomb, and he did not have a good trip last time out in Braver Than We Are. This race flow in that last race was ugly. The winner of that race, Sky Point, was one of the only horses who settled early. He threaded the needle on the inside under Jose Alvarez and won going away. Braver Than We Are, who, by the way, was 8-5 in that race. He just didn't get the trip he wanted. He never settled. However, 2 starts ago, he settled beautifully under apprentice Juan Carlos Diaz Jr., and he won going away. Again, I'm trying to dig and excuse a couple of bad efforts and hope that I can get horses like the 10 and the 3 who are fast enough to win this race if they get the right trip.
Well, the horse that's the absolute total speed in here is the 2 8s and aces. If this horse could recapture that form back on, this one will run away from the field, but coming off the layup for a long time, so we'll see him dropping down. So that was at Gulfstream Park West, but on pace figures, this is the fastest horse in the race.
He is definitely the key in the race also, because if he gets clear, he could get brave. If he gets hooked, that's when my closers get to have a say in the outcome.
Well, race number 8 this afternoon, 1 mile and 1/8, an allowance optional claimer, 3 and up, or the optional claiming price of 25. And as you mentioned, we're both fans of the number 4, James Byrne. I actually singled this horse in my Rainbow Six. I know you liked his performance last out.
Yeah, let's take a look at it, and I'm going to tell you why I liked it even more than just the fact that he lost by a neck while running very, very well. First start in the barn of Safi Joseph Jr. You'll see that James Byrne is going to make first run. He's now 4th in the 2 path. The eventual winner is the horse that's last, Devamani. Now, Devamani is a graded stakes quality racehorse, and he runs right onto the back of Burn James Byrne. Now, for my money from the announcer booth, at this point, Devamani's a winner. It's just a matter of how far. Now, that being said, Devamani didn't win by very far, as Burn James Byrne really kicked on well, and that was what impressed me. When you consider the horse on the far outside is a graded stakes quality racehorse, and he will likely run in a graded stakes next time, Burn James Byrne's giving him all he wants here.
Yeah, and, you know, at 9 furlongs, he's the only horse in here that, in my estimation, talking about Burn James Byrne, that can compete at this 9 furlong distance. That's what sold me more than anything else on single on my ticket.
This is a really good race. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to go in here. The 2 Freedom Matters, this is the wild card for me. 7-2 on the morning line might be a little bit bullish. This is a horse that, in my mind, was one-dimensional speed up until last time. Johnny V got this horse to settle beautifully, and if Zayas can do the same thing, you might have a different Freedom Matters, because he won really, really well last time, and his form cycle just continues to head in the upward trajectory.
Well, the horse I used in second was the 6 Passport to Chaos, who's stretching out to this distance we've been talking about, 9 furlongs. After shaking off early trouble, he finished 4th against those entry-level allowance runners going a mile. Jason Service, MSCL Jaramillo, added distance this afternoon. I thought he ran okay last time out.
Yeah, he did run okay, and he makes my ticket as well. And the 3, the Green Moster, is a horse that I think you and I would both agree that he's not really a win candidate, but he always seems to get a slice.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see how they run. And also use the 11 in here. Strike Midnight is making his first start. He recovered from I thought an unprepared start to finish 4th on overnight stake here during January. He's a 6-year-old son of Smart Strike. He's in for the 25 tag in this optional claimer. He's my sneaky in the race.
Yeah, and I have no argument to that.
Yeah, right.
I worried about the outside gate. You
Right.
took you didn't like me taking the outside gate. This is my turn to not like the outside
Well,
gate.
9 furlongs way different than 7.5 furlongs outside
All right.
gate, right?
Nicoletti gets that flow. That's no problem. Now, the 9th race, there's going to be no fighting in the 9th race here, because we may have a difference of opinion, but there's too many good horses. This is a race that, for me, though, you have to have answers to questions that I just don't know how you have, because the horses that are in good form haven't raced. The horses that are the best horses are in bad form. Some of them are laid up. Some of them are looking to get their form back. Horses like Reason to Soar is in terrible form off of his last, but why did he run so bad? I mean, there's just a lot of alibis that need to be answered here.
And, the key here, you have in second, I have top, is, of course, 9 Strike Powers, 2018 Grade 3 Swale Stakes. When he comes back, he runs second in the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth. Then now he's making his 4-year-old debut. He got beat double-digit lengths in a string of defeats when he was sent to the sidelines. Does he come back and show what he did? He's the son of Speightstown. He's training really well over the track in preparation for this assignment, which I like.
Well, and like you said, does he come back? I don't know. If he does, that's why he's on my ticket. He's probably the best horse in here. He certainly has a resume that doesn't need any introduction. A horse like the 4, Be Gone Daddy, is one of the only horses in this race that brings his form in, that's recent form, that's good form. I would imagine that's why he's on both of our tickets. I took it on faith that Jason Service will have horses ready. He did with that horse, I can't remember his name again now, that I was talking about earlier, that came off a 6 or 7 month layoff that I thought had no chance on Florida Derby Day, and blew the doors off a field. So I'll trust that the 5 dial operator is ready, and we'll see if he's good enough. He's 4 for 5.
4 for 5 against Jersey bred competition.
That's fair.
We'll see how that one runs. I got him on my ticket for all the reasons you mentioned, because of Jason Service, and he does bring him back. Anybody else you want to talk about?
Absolutely. We should probably talk about everyone, if I'm being honest. The one Sweet on the Ladies is probably going to get a slice. He runs home and gets a slice. He's made one heck of a career for trainer Henry Collazo doing just that. He's made almost $400,000. I think he goes over that plateau here today. 3 Rules has made almost $1 million, and he's not on either one of our top 4. How good is this race when a horse like that doesn't make our top 4?
Well, I added him to my Rainbow Six, as you remember, when I showed you, because I didn't want to beat by 3 Rules, because I was a big fan way back. He's been off form, as you know. He's coming back. So lots of different ways to go in this race.
Now, it's interesting to me how 3 Rules, his last race, he was a dull 7th behind Reason to Soar, who at the time was in great form. He runs against Reason to Soar now, but Reason to Soar was ugly last time, at least least for me, with no visible excuse. The only thing I can say about that is that he has run on the slop each of his last 2 times. He's run terrible both times, and I don't really have a remember the XY jet effort, but last time he just never looked comfortable to me. Ever.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just as simple as the off track. Well, let's go to our final race today, as we are just about on time here. Race number 10, mile on the turf, maiden special weight, state bred. I went with the 3. I love shopping, but you got your horse you like, and here did you singled.
I single, but go ahead. Talk about I love shopping. I'm not going to take a shot at you at all, by the way.
Well, this is a half-sister to Super Turf Sprinter Imprimis, debuting on the grass at a mile after hitting the board in one of those 2 state-bred special weight sprints on the main track. Timmy Hills, he's pretty solid with the turf to dirt angle. Very limited sampling, about 30%. It's got Angel Rodriguez, handling the surface change this afternoon. And I just thought, I love shopping. Am I sold on him? Am I going to single him? No, but I think he belongs on the ticket.
Well, a lot of folks won't recognize, just strictly based on the kind of blue-collar pedigree, that this horse is a, what'd you say, full or half?
Half.
A half to, at least my opinion, one of, if not the best turf sprinter in the country in Imprimis. That alone definitely makes you wonder if this horse can run. Last time out, she looked absolutely uncomfortable every step of the way. She ran well 2 starts ago, but they came home awful slow. She's got some questions to answer, but I will not and should not take a shot at you when I'm picking a horse that hasn't been seen since July in the number 11 Ghostly Beauty. It's strictly on the fact that I think she's going to be ready. If she's ready, she's got a big shot. If she's prepping for something else or just trying to get a race, I'm in trouble.
Well, the number 8 La Show forward now in the Ralph Nix barn. This daughter of Cairo Prince has been knocking on the door in consecutive races at this level and should find an easier time dictating or stalking the pace there. I thought this one might have a little better time on or near the front.
Well, I didn't like her last race. Maybe it's because I needed her and my own gambling is clouding my judgment. I mean, that's possible, but I think she'll take some money off of those string of good runs. And you have your Nicoletti long shot in here in the number 2 Macho.
Yeah, this one's stepping up the competition after closing to finish 3rd behind a repeat winner called Chill Milk. Now, Chill Milk ran 2 really nice races in a row and then just did not fire last time out. Just the other day, John Kimmel has just had a great, quiet winter meeting here at Gulfstream Park. He's got who you mentioned you like, Victor Lebrun astride this 4-year-old daughter of Macho Uno, 12-1 on the morning line. I like all these things, and I'm not sold on anybody here. Your horse, who knows if he's going to run? I love shopping. Who knows if this horse is going to like the turf? La Show 4, okay. So why not take a shot?
No argument. And the same applies for the 5 Charging Renee, who made both of our tickets. She's a newcomer for Jonathan Thomas. Do we know anything? No, not really.
Yep. So
good betting race, though, because, again, just like the 9th race, where there's a lot of questions that we don't have concrete answers for. If you do or you think you do and you're right, go to the windows.
Well, a lot of time the talking heads say, what a great card we have today. This is a good betting card.
It really is.
It really is. So we'll be back throughout the week. Pete will be giving you the change in just a couple of minutes and giving you his dulcet tones throughout the afternoon. Good luck, everybody.
The best chance for success begins with a solid foundation. At Hardacre Farm, early personal one-on-one care starts the journey to becoming a champion. Bred to leading stallions, our mares represent the highest standards. Hardacre Farm's signature in the breeding industry. Based in Ocala, Florida, breeder and owner Amy Tarrant has inspired excellence throughout her entire career. In your quest for success, start with Hardacre Farm, breeding the champions of tomorrow.